or good morning, good afternoon, depending where you're joining from today. Welcome to another episode of Confidence Culture Conversations. And I am one of your hosts, Elizabeth Olujime, and as always, my amazing co-host.
My name is Kirubai Kahoot, and I'm a personal transformation coach inside out. And of course, my Elizabeth Olujimi coach, coach with who dares to believe. And I'm very excited to share this platform with her. And
Awesome.
we are good to go today because it's going to be our last episode on relationships in the month of May. Sorry, why May? February. I'm thinking of May. Why? Anyway,
Rewind.
February. Yes, the month of February. We spoke a lot on relationships. For those who have not caught up with us, please go and visit our past videos on relationships. And today, another exciting topic. But before we go to the topic, how was your week, Elizabeth?
Well, it's funny, whenever you ask that question, I have to think, what day is it today?
Today is the Tuesday,
Tuesday, right?
Tuesday the
So the week
27th.
the week has literally just started, but you know what? I'm excited because the month is almost coming to an end. And
Mm-mm.
it feels like
Just
the
started.
months are going really fast.
We just started, yes, and it's flying. Time is flying, and we can't catch it. We can't catch it and keep it in a bushel. But time is just flying.
They say time waits for no man. So
Hmm.
hey,
Hmm.
that's
And
it.
it didn't wait for us. It's passed us by. So, Elizabeth, how was your? Oh, we have Pastor Isaac online. Hi.
Thank you, Pastor Isaac, for joining us. I really enjoyed
Your
your
comments.
input to our conversation
That's
last
right.
week. So that was amazing.
Yes. Yeah. So I think we had a very interesting Sunday. Don't you think so?
Yes, we did. We did. Good,
Mm,
you reminded me. I was
yes.
thinking Sunday. What happened on Sunday? But no, we did. We had a great time. Do you want me to share about it, or do you want to share about
No,
it?
you share about it, and then it's just timely to put on the flyer.
We
So
can play the video. It
yeah,
will work today.
yes, it will really work today.
So, for those that are wondering what we did on Sunday, if you follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, you probably have seen a post that I put out. But myself and Kirubai went to St. Paul's Hammersmith to attend their 11 o'clock service. And we went there with, I guess we wanted to kill two birds with one stone. So we attended the service, but we also got to see the venue for the Well Summit that's coming up in March, which we are very excited to be part of. So I'm going to play the video. Let me do that just now, and you can get a feel of what this summit is going to be about. Let's get.
Transformational change comes from the renewal of your mind and your heart. Willpower and strength alone are not enough. You need God power. So join us. Listen and learn from senior women leading well in the workplace and step into transformational change for your own life and leadership.
I like,
Awesome.
sorry, I like the way the video is done. You need God power. Women, wise, well women, you need God power. So, Elizabeth, what are we going to empower the women on the workshop that we are doing? Both of us are doing on confidence culture
So,
conversations.
so we are privileged to run a workshop during the summit. So the summit is actually, so it's 2 days. The Friday is going to be like a celebration worship night. It's going to be amazing. And for that part, the men are welcome to join us. So we'll do that on the Friday, and then on the Saturday it's going to be a full day for the women. And one of the things during the day is going to be some workshops, and we are running a workshop on the fruit of the spirit, but particularly how we need to bring the fruit of the spirit to work. So don't forget your fruit when you go into the workplace.
A lot of us like to separate our fruit. We keep the fruit in church, and then when we go to the workplace, we become fruitless, if I can say that. And no, I mean, we sometimes forget that, the
We've
place
got
of
fruit.
work. Yeah, we got to bring our fruit of the Spirit to work, and how we manifest at the workplace, and how we empower, and impact the fruit of the Holy Spirit at our workplace. I think that's what the gist of our workshop, right, Elizabeth? So it's exciting to merge both, because your work is your worship unto the Lord.
Yes, ma'am.
And we can't separate. And for such a time as this, we women leaders, we are women of leadership qualities. We are leading in the marketplace, we are leading in church, we are leading in our families. So we have to lead with the fruit. So come, buy your tickets. Elizabeth, the link. It's the link.
The link. You're right. Let
Yeah.
me put the
So
link. Let me
Miss
share the link.
Elizabeth shares the link. She's the tech person. I am not the tech person. So what's that? So buy your tickets. It's going to be amazing, amazing. On the 16th of March, you're having a beautiful collection. I would say collection of women leaders in the marketplace. You've got workshops, you've got merchandise, you've got worship, you've got so many things, all the elements put together to bring forth this summit. And we welcome you. Get your tickets. The tickets are so affordable for a whole day of conference. You can get one ticket and bless someone else with another ticket. So come join us. We want to say hello to you. Come and say hello to us. And you can recognize us. We might not be able to recognize you. Come alongside. Come alongside. And yeah, we are excited. We're just so excited.
And you know what? We say the tickets are affordable, but if you're in that place where you're really struggling to
Yes.
actually put together the funds for a ticket, please get in touch as well.
Yeah.
Please get in touch. But don't keep it to yourself. Tell a sister, tell another sister, tell another sister, tell another sister, right? So don't come on your own. Make it like a date with your sisters. It's going to be amazing. And if you are watching this and thinking, what fruit are they talking about? Open your Bible and go to Galatians chapter 5, verse 22, I think it is. And you have a breakdown there. So that can be your pre-work before the session. But yeah, that's really, really good. So make sure you save the date, March the 15th and the 16th. I've shared the link. So come and join us. Now, before we move into today's conversation, Kirubai, this time last year, we had just finished our first ever in-person workshop.
Wow, I
Conversation.
Wow, I completely forgot.
It was the 25th of February.
Oh, all right.
2023. What I might do for next week, I thought I could do it this week, but I've been preoccupied, is maybe put together some little clips or some videos, some pictures, and we can just share about the day, because it was a lovely day with some amazing people. God showed up.
God showed up, and we had a good time. We had an excellent time. Even the numbers were small, but you know what? Like what Elizabeth said, God did show up, and we were very blessed with the women there, and it was a good time of connection. So this year we might go into a workshop. We'll let you know later. Watch that space.
Exactly. Watch the space. We'll keep you posted. So today we are having this conversation on long distance relationships. Now, if you are joining us, thank you so much for joining us. Please like, share, invite someone else to join the conversation. The more the merrier. This is going to get juicy because Kirubai needs to tell us some stories. So, Kirubai, we're talking about long distance relationships, right? Before Kirubai answers my question, let me put the question out there. If you're joining us, Have you ever experienced a long distance relationship? Or are you even in a long distance relationship? Let us know in the comments. What's that like? Kirubai, do you want to intro us into this?
Yes, why not? I could say that I have mastered it for an extent that it ended up in a lovely, successful relationship and marriage. And I thank God for that, because God was in this picture. He was really in the picture. So, now that these days, the now time is, lots of people are going online to find relationships, dating. Lots of dating apps are out, and people are just signing in, finding people, connecting with people globally for relationships. Well, that's good in a certain way, but it is also not good in a certain way, because there is also a rise in fraudulence. That's the bad news. People cheating each other, taking the women can take the men for a ride, the men can take the women for a ride. But you know what? But there is hope in online dating, I must tell you. My story is a little different, because I was I was introduced. We were introduced by some common friends, and I was in Malaysia. My husband was, he's still in the UK, and I was skeptical. I was really skeptical, but you know what? Okay, people took trouble to introduce us. I said, let's start. Let's just start as, not in the view of marriage or relationships. Nothing. Just let's start with just emailing each other. And my husband, being a good British, how is the weather in Malaysia? British love to ask about the weather.
How is the weather? Good
And
conversation starter.
Good conversation starter. Anyway, he always asked about the weather. It was on the pretext of him coming to Malaysia for a wedding, the common friends who introduced us. So he was coming to the wedding, and my friend in Malaysia said, maybe you could accompany him, show him Malaysia. But me not knowing that he had already been to Malaysia 4 times prior to coming for this wedding, there was always a stopover in Malaysia, and he traveled on his own and traveled with his parents. But you know what? I said, all right, I'll get to know this person. It doesn't matter. But you know what? Every time we started off with an email, and every time he asked about the weather, I said, why is this person? He's typical British, always talking about the weather. So one day I said, the weather is hottest in Malaysia, or it rains. Because it's tropics, huh? There's no seasons, and there's only two different seasons. There's hot weather or rainy weather. There's nothing in between. So I told him, please don't ask me this question, because it was quite irritating for me asking about the question, And there was one point in our conversation through the email. I was just thinking to myself, maybe I should, because my husband is a foodie, and at that point I wasn't really a good cook. Mom used to cook, and I just helped around, but never kind of put my hands to the plow. And he always talked about, oh, where's a good restaurant in Malaysia? Elizabeth knows my husband is a good foodie, and he was always talking about food. And I have a friend who's still not married, but she's an excellent cook. So I thought maybe I should introduce him to her.
Oh, okay.
Friendship. But you know what? My mom said, no. You kind of be his friends. I said, why not, Mom? He's always asking about food. So it was, we talked about a lot of things, but you know what? It started off as a friend, we were friends. So it started off as friendship, and it was just on emails. He didn't even give me his phone number.
Okay.
But lo and behold, I remember, I think it was March, he started emailing me, but in June, his mom passed away.
Mm.
So it was very sad. And I had this email from him saying, you won't receive any emails from me. It was just one email a week. And of course, it had to start with, how is the weather? So it was a very short, brief email inquiring how you're doing. And, very, 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 very polite, like how British men and women speak about, very polite. But then he told me, I will not write to you for the next 2 weeks. So I was wondering, why is it? He didn't tell me the reason. But I later found out that his mom had passed on. So I thought it was only proper for me to send him an email and also call him. I think it's only proper, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have the number. So I had to get my friend to ask her fiance to get the number. The fiance was working with my husband. That's how this connection came. So I got the number and I called him, and that's how we started speaking and hearing each other's voice.
Wow.
And then it.
So that was the first phone call.
Yes, that was the first phone call I made. I mean, I braved myself. You can't wait for the guy to. You want to express your condolences, and I had to take the first step, and that's how he got my number, and I got. In fact, he didn't get my number. Those days we used those cards, calling cards. Calling cards. Yeah, I'm talking about 14 years ago.
Oh,
So
wow.
calling cards, and then we exchanged numbers, and the rest was history. But it was a journey that after I called him, and every move that I made was, I just committed it to the Lord. And I think that was in June. In July, I said, email, calling is expensive. I said, why not we speak on Skype? It's free of charge. So he said, all right. And, the biggest challenge was the time difference. Malaysia is 7 hours ahead.
Okay.
So, yeah. And of course, during winter months is 8 hours ahead. So our timing was the biggest challenge. So, but first thing he gets into the office, he would call me, and that would be like 7 o'clock. Was it 7 o'clock? Yeah, he has to start work. So 7 would be nearly 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
1 o'clock in the afternoon, 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I would pick up the call and say hello. And then we started Skyping every night. And then our friendship started growing. And towards the end, it was the biggest challenge turned into a blessing, because you know what? We had to learn to communicate everything. So long distance relationships, one of those things that I think we can unpack today is communication, Elizabeth. Don't you agree?
I totally agree. First of all, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for, laying us in and giving us a snippet of, what it was like for you. Communication is necessary in every relationship, right?
Yep.
Whether it's long distance or short distance, or even living under the same roof, communication is so important. But I think it's a bit stretched, or it's a bit more challenged when you are then separated by distance as well. And you've mentioned time zones as well. So it's not just that you were in different countries, different continents, you were in different time zones as well. So it was really one of those things where if you can't commit, you can't commit.
Yeah.
You had to be willing to pay the price. And I think there's things that we can learn from long distance relationships, particularly just the commitment to communicate. because I think that's one of the things that helps a long distance relationship to thrive,
Mhm.
is that power of communication. Because the fact that I can't see you regularly, I need to be able to, and so that then becomes phone calls, like you mentioned, Skype. Nowadays we have Zoom, we have WhatsApp, we have what's it called, the iPhone one, FaceTime. We
FaceTime.
have all those different things, and I think technology has really helped in terms of long distance relationships as technology has advanced.
Mhm.
That's not to say that our parents back then did not do long distance relationships. I think some
Letter
of them
writing.
did.
Letter writing.
Letter writing, exactly. And you know what? I love receiving a nice letter.
Mhm.
I don't think Tunji has written me a letter yet. Hint, hint.
And
Um, but there's no harm in writing a letter. But definitely communication is a big one. But let's say you are in a long distance relationship with somebody, and let's say the person cannot even cannot commit to communicating on a daily basis. Like, what's the best frequency? I know you said for you it then became a daily thing,
Mhm.
but what if this person can't commit to daily? What happens?
No, initially it was not daily, it was like weekly. We kind of build that momentum
Mm-hmm.
when we got more interested in each other and what we did and I did. So then there was more things to communicate. But by saying that, his way of communication is very British, even though I was educated in Queen's English. But the frequency of our thoughts were completely different. So there was quite a lot of miscommunication. I said something and he misunderstood something. But one of the
Wow.
things that he did was, because the way I wrote and expressed, he misunderstood. There were times that misunderstanding took place. But you know what?
Mm.
When he misunderstood, he immediately picked up the phone and he called me and he said, "What do you mean?" Because we tried to keep misunderstanding to the minimal.
Mm.
So yes, it was a challenge in communication, but we kind of nipped it in the bud. When I had to go and submit for spousal visa in the embassy, we had emails this much. We had to prove. We had to prove everything had to be proven that I was not a runaway bride or what do you say, a mail order bride. So yeah, so we worked at it. You
Mm.
need, like what you say, pay the price. You have to lay down your life. Sometimes you have to sleep late or get up early in the morning, because you get
Mm.
up early. And I think some days I'm up at 4 o'clock chatting with him, because it's 10, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Oh,
Wow.
5 o'clock. So, I got up at 5, and sometimes I spoke with him for half an hour and then probably go back to a little bit of a dose. But all that was a commitment. You had to lay your life down to build something. If there's no sacrifice, there's no success, huh?
Mm. Mm. You know, so when I was introduced to Tunji, which
Mm.
for those that are watching and you don't know my story, so myself
Okay.
and my husband were introduced by a mutual friend.
Mhm.
So there's no harm in introductions. So don't run away from it. If you're someone single and you're thinking, "Oh, I don't like being
Oh, yes, I
introduced,"
met the guy the other day. He came for the workshop, right? We were
yes, you
introduced.
did. Yes, you
Yes,
did.
yes.
And he he was very, I guess, savvy in the way he did it. It was just a Facebook message. What do you think of this guy? And that was it.
Mm.
And then the funny thing is, he didn't even say, "Let me give him your number." But he then went and told Tunji, "It's okay, you can communicate with her." And so I'm thinking, is he going to give my number? How's it going to happen? And then next thing I know, after I think a day or two, Tunji's messaging me on Facebook. And that's how it started. So he then had to ask me for my number himself. So this friend didn't even give the number. He was like, you've got to do the work yourself. But at the time, so I was living in London and I was living in Bristol and Tunji was
Bristol,
living
yeah.
in London. Now, okay, yes, we're in the same time zone. But it was still a little bit of a distance. And one of the things we had to commit to was, your life is busy, my life is busy. If we want this to work, we both have to be in it. And I would say every relationship needs that commitment, whether it's long distance or short distance down the road. We all need to put all your eggs in the basket, put everything in there. Let's all make the effort, because if the effort is coming from one side and it's not coming from the other end, then it's a bit lopsided. It's one-sided. It's not quite working. So from a long distance perspective, Kirubai, there were a couple of things that you mentioned, which I think would almost have put your relationship at a disadvantage, so to speak, because you had the barrier in terms of, yes, you both spoke English, but different backgrounds, different cultures, different ways of communicating. So this communication piece is really it's really a big part of making a relationship thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are far apart, I'm going to say it's harder in the sense that you mentioned you would email,
mm-hmm.
and then when he didn't understand, he would call you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, if, for example, the person is in the same city, you would say, let's meet up for dinner, and let's talk about it over dinner. But you don't quite have that in a long distance relationship. So you have to kind of keep all those things that you want to talk about until you meet together. If there's things that there's levels of misunderstanding happening. So the communication piece is so important, but it's also, I guess, how you do it as well, in terms of how you're communicating, because technology, like I say, has helped so much. It has helped so much. I mean, today I was speaking to my mom on a video call, and she's all the way in Uganda at the moment, and it didn't feel like she's in Uganda because I can just pick up the phone and call her. But that's the benefit of WhatsApp.
But, it's a blessing, right? You're connected, every day you can speak to your mom, and which I do back in Malaysia. I speak to her every day. Yeah. So, but these are the blessings that God has given us, and it is possible to bring two people from different parts of the world together in a strong ending up in a strong marital relationship. But I think all of us who go into long distance relationships, wanting it to finish in marriage, have to do due diligence on that person. It's very important. So you might ask, how can I check the guy's background or the girl's background? So that's a question even I had. So my safeguard was that we had common friends. That's so good. It's a safeguard. The guy wouldn't have lied to me, but over and above, I just prayed to the Lord, if it's not your will, remove it. For those who are in the faith, you get to know someone, and there's always a check. If you have a check, tell the Lord. If you don't, check, if you feel at peace, but pray and say, God, I commit this into your hands. And then God, who loves you, he will do the best for you. Don't rush these things, And, for your information, I got married when I was 47. So I didn't rush.
Wow.
I didn't rush it. I mean, it was late, but you know what? The foundation was right. The foundation was right. And it was 2009, and we got married 2010 August. So between 2009 March and 2010 August, I only had met him physically, putting 60 days, I could say.
Wow.
So
Wow.
God was in this picture. So 60 days, and I said, go. I said, okay. I said, let's not waste time. You like me, I like you, and God is in the picture. We'll get married. And that's how it
Let's
happened.
not waste time, she said.
Come on, I was 47 and he was 53. What to waste time? That of course the culture here is, let's live together, let's spend time together in that sense. Let's get to know each other intimately. I said, there's no such thing in my vocabulary.
Mm.
So, God also moved in his heart and said, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. It's a challenge, but you know what? God was in it. That's all I can say, Elizabeth.
So, Kirubai, if you were to share maybe 3 things that helped you in the relationship, like what were some of your, let's keep it to 3, or you can take it to 5 if you want to. But some of the things that you think were very important, you mentioned communication.
Mhm.
So if there's some others that you can add to it, just in case there's someone watching who might be in a long distance relationship, or even somebody who has written off having a long distance relationship,
Mhm.
and maybe they just need to think from a global perspective, because to be honest, the world that we're living in today, we can be very connected even though we are miles apart. And so you said earlier on that people are, there's people going into dating sites and things like that. But even on social media, people are meeting up. I think I mentioned the other week that there's a
Yes.
Nigerian gospel artist who recently got engaged. How did he meet his soon-to-be wife? Instagram. What did she do? She danced to one of his songs and she posted it and she tagged him. And I don't even think she thought in her wildest dreams that this was going to end in a marriage. But she was brave enough to put it out there. And I think she did it at like 1 a.m. or something. She was just like, it had been on her heart to do it. And so she decided to do it. And she did. And now her name, she has gone from this is me in my space to this is me in a global space now, because he was, he's known around the world, or in different spaces he's known. And so now, like, she's all of a sudden in this limelight as well. So life has changed. So, but for them it was long distance because she was here, as far as I'm aware, and he was okay. He travels around ministering with his music, but he's predominantly based in Nigeria. So what can you share to somebody who is either thinking of it, or someone who's in it?
I think, of course, the first thing. Communication is not the first thing. So we are talking about for women of faith. I think the first thing is you enter into a long distance relationship as friends first. Get to know the person without any expectation.
Okay.
Just get to know the person. Meanwhile, you just on the background, you pray, pray, and pray. Keep being in touch with God and asking Him, because all those superficial things you will see outwardly, nice looking, or the person is earning a lot of money, or da 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 da. How is his manners? All these things are minus. They are minor points. But I would say, pray, 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 because nothing is hidden except to be revealed to a child of God. So pray, but get to know the person as a friend. Don't have expectations. Communicate. And that communication will enable you to move into having the unwavering trust that you can have on each other. Trust is very important. So because you're you're miles apart, you're in two different places, you can play behind each other. Who is going to tell? But there's a God up there who sees. So and finally, I think I would say, having the same shared end goal, because the eventualities is if it's going to work out in a marriage, because it has to end in a marriage. If the person, either party, is playing the fool, then it's not worth it, because it's a lot of energy, man.
True.
It's a lot of energy, spent, sleepless nights, and I would get like 3-4 calls a day. So there's always constantly, in touch. So three, 4 call, between his work time, he will just call me or whatever, or say something, and then emails. So there's constantly, there is communication throughout the day. So he will tell me what he's doing, and I will tell him what I'm doing. We never had date nights, though. Nowadays, a lot of people are having date nights on Zoom or whatever, whatever way they're connecting. But we never had, they even people watch movies together. So there's so many things. Yeah, moving. I mean, Bill Gates, that's how he had date nights with his ex-wife. Now she's been exed. So so these are things that can happen, but you know what, always trust your gut feeling. That's where the Holy Spirit speaks to you. Always trust your gut feeling. Holy Spirit speaks, and then he will guide you. He will guide you into all truths. That's what the scripture says, and the rest is history.
Wow. Wow. So just because it starts from a long distance relationship doesn't mean that there is no longevity. Doesn't mean that it cannot go into marriage and actually go far in marriage, be a lifelong marriage. There's a lot of marriages now which I think you can hear that there was a long distance somewhere down the road. But you need to be committed. And I love the points that you shared, and I'm just going to kind of summarize some of them. So you mentioned about being friends fast. So being able to do life without expectations. I like that one. Be friends. Prayer is important. If you're not a person of faith, you can still pray. God will hear you. So you can still pray. But I think prayer is definitely a big one, because you won't know everything. One of the prayers that I used to pray whenever I would get into a relationship, I would pray, because I was very committed to my faith and my walk with God. I would say, Lord, let the fire in my life become so hot, so that if there is anything that is not of you, it is burnt away. That was literally my prayer. And then the next prayer would be, Lord, reveal this person to me. Those were like my 2 prayer points, but it was really, let the fire of God that is burning in me, like, burn away, anything that is not of God for me. And I think that prayer was based on when Paul was shipwrecked, and they, he gathered some sticks to make a fire. And as the fire came, the snake crawled out of the sticks. So it was like, let that evil that is not for me come out, or let it be exposed. So those were kind of my prayer points. So yeah, pray. Definitely ask. You can find some trusted people that you can share it with, and they can pray along with you. Have a shared end goal. That's a good one, because if one of you is thinking, I'm just dating you for a few months, and the other one is thinking, oh, marriage, wedding, this, that, we're going to have a problem. Trust is a big one. Communication we talked about, but trust. And you know what? With trust is important in any relationship.
Mm.
The issue of the distance, I think, comes into play because you might not necessarily like know this person, or you're not around them a lot more. You know, so you really have to like trust that everything this person says is what it is.
Mm.
And Kiruba, you mentioned earlier on when you referred to your relationship with Robert about the fact that you had some mutual friends. And, you know, I think that makes a difference, being able to have like not necessarily accountability, but you can
Assurance.
go and
Little assurance.
character check,
Yeah.
do your due diligence. I remember like when I started dating Tunji or going out with Tunji, whatever you want to call it, I would go back to his friend at some point. I think there was 1 or 2 instances where I went back to his friend and I said, you know, speak to your friend, speak to your guy about this, you know. Whether he did or didn't, I don't know. But I would just nudge him. And I remember one of the questions I used to go back and ask him was, but how did you know that me and Tunji would work? Up to this day, he's never given me a straight answer. Because we fit so well together.
Yeah.
It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't a coincidence. And to be fair, the person who introduced us does a lot of speaking on relationships and has written books on relationships. So he has a gift. And we're not the first couple he's introduced.
Lovely.
You know, there are a couple of others he's introduced. So yeah, but I think when it comes to long distance relationships, I think some people have a fear. And whether it's, you know, the fear that we talk about, fear of the unknown. I don't know what I'm getting.
But you know, there is a way of working around it. If you're a woman of faith and you're relating to a church, the pastor of that church can write to the pastor of his church.
Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Okay.
And, you know, and then you can, you know, kind of get a, what shall I say, a character check.
Oh my days.
Yeah. You can do that. I know of a few of my friends who have done that.
Really?
Yes. They have.
And did it come back like a good check or a bad check?
It was a good check. Even, you know, some priests or pastors, you know, they've even said the negative things about the person, and it's up to you to you want to build a life with this person or not. No, they didn't lie. They said as it was, the truth as it was. So there is a way out of these things. There is a way around it. Get the pastors involved. And I think the pastors would want to bless you, you know. They want the best for you.
That's an interesting one, because I've never known of anyone to do that. But you know what? If that's going to help you to get some reassurance, then so be it. But I think just like with everything in life, like be cautious, but also remember, don't be too cautious to the point that you then say no to every single person just because you're being too cautious. You know, in life, failure happens. Fear of failure is something that we all experience. And when it comes to relationships, yes, you can never guarantee that a relationship is going to work, because even relationships that are in the faith fail. So you can never guarantee, but there has to be commitment from both parties to ensure that this relationship works. And this is where the shared end goal comes into play. We're on the same page about this. So we're going to build together. Because imagine you don't have a shared end goal, and let's say you're building a house. One is building this way, the other is building that way, but it's supposed to be the same house. So what's this house going to look like?
It will divide and fall.
It might look like this on one side and like this on the other. It's not going to look right. You know, and the Bible says, how can two walk together lest they agree? So that shared end goal is so important. and the things we're sharing are not just relevant to long distance relationships.
All relationships. Yeah.
All relationships, this can come into play. But we wanted to focus on long distance relationships because, Kirubai is a testament of a long distance relationship. I am to a point, but it's not that far. But Kirubai is, and by sharing her story, I hope that it can give you some hope to know that it can work. It can work. Just make sure your guards are on. Don't ignore the red signals. Don't ignore the red signals.
And marriage is a beautiful journey. Two heads are better than one.
Mm-hmm.
And with God in the picture, it can be beautiful challenges, valley and mountain experiences. But you know what? Don't like what Elizabeth said, because of one bad experience, don't give up this thought about going into another relationship, because that relationship could be your destiny helper, that person.
Mm.
Don't you think so? Tunji is your destiny helper.
He is. I mean, the Bible says that we are the helpmate, right?
Yeah,
But when the two of us come together, we are a force to be reckoned with.
exactly.
And the devil don't know what he's dealing with.
Yeah. So it's
destiny is to
to
be
reckon with. And I want women out there, please don't deprive yourself of a beautiful relationship in Jesus.
Mm.
Go out there and spread your nets and spread your wings, and keep asking God, because a lot of women are silently being lonely inside,
Mm.
and especially women of faith, so afraid to whether I'm doing the right thing, if God is pleased with me. You know what? When God is in the center of your relationship,
Mm.
He will guide you.
It's interesting you say that, Kirubai, and I'm gonna share it on here. But this group on Facebook, which I think we're both part of, but I didn't realize we were part of it when I joined it. Anyway, recently someone posted in there something about Christian men, and I was offended on behalf of Christian men, because I felt she was very negative in the way that she spoke about Christian men.
Probably I missed that post.
You must have missed it. I wanted to tag you, but I felt like calling all the sisters I know to come and comment on that post. But it was literally a statement, a blanket statement about Christian men. It wasn't some Christian men or Christian men I've encountered. It was Christian men. And it's the way she said, they're this, they're that. And it was very negative. It was very, what's the word that I want to use? Gosh, I'm lost for words. But it was very negative towards men. And I remember looking at it and my spirit was unsettled.
Derogative.
Yeah, my spirit was unsettled. And I thought, and this is a group for Christian women. And there's a lot of single women in that group.
Wow.
And so I was very, I went and put a response back to her and literally said, and I wasn't the only person that was seeing things from my perspective, but I said to her, I don't know if you're hurting from whatever men have done to you, but you can't come and say that about Christian men. You've not encountered all Christian men, so you can't talk like that. But I was just like, you can't. Especially, and I was thinking, reflecting on it afterwards, if you are someone who is single and you want to eventually, you would love to be married or would love to meet a nice Christian man, then don't go and start saying, oh, Christian men are this and that and that. No, because with your own mouth, you're speaking negative over them. So how are you going to get a good Christian man? It's not going to happen. Because with our words, we are creating our world. We are framing our world.
That's right.
Just because one man has hurt you, it doesn't mean you hate the whole generation of men. No. And I said, my husband doesn't qualify in those Christian men you're talking about. And I know a lot of Christian men who do not fit that statement that you've made. Because I was just It just offended me.
Oh.
But and the fact that it was in a group for Christian women, we are now coming to talk negatively about Christian men.
It discourages
Because
the other
they're not
the
there to
women.
defend
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, it's very discouraging. Discouraging.
There's a lot of women in there who are Christian singles, and they have written posts about the struggles of being a single Christian woman. So you make them believe that there's no good Christian men, and yet they are.
Well,
There's some good ones out there.
whoever the woman is, I mean, she needs healing, inner healing. I hope you pointed her out to go and get some help.
Well, I'm not the only one who came and said something about you need to heal and let go.
Okay.
What
All
else
right.
can
That's
I
good. Good advice. Good advice.
But honestly, when it comes to relationships can be complicated. Relationships can be a challenge, but it's going to be up to you and how much work you're willing to put into it. I think just like anything in life, if you want something to be successful,
You have to work on it.
Invest in it, water it, work on it. Because at the end of the day, you can't come and blame the other spouse for everything. You have to ask yourself, what part am I playing to it? Because relationship is a two-way street. Kirubai, do you have any more to add?
I think I've said my piece.
Yeah.
And if there's someone out there who really needs some help on relationships, I think Elizabeth and I are very happy to speak to you. We love to help one another. We want all our single sisters here to have a good married life. Come join this boat of I wouldn't say bliss, but happiness, joy, and gratefulness to each other. Come join us. Come join us. And yes, we might even be able to. Elizabeth knows lots of single guys. I don't really know, but you know what? Elizabeth might be into matchmaking. Elizabeth,
No comment. But you know what? I was gonna say one final thing. They say that love is blind, but don't go into love blindly.
Yeah.
Don't cover your eyes and just be like, yeah, anybody, here I am. No. Don't go into it blindly.
like many other things, you got to be very intentional.
You have to open your eyes. Oh, look, it's Alana. Hi, Alana.
Oh my God, Alana. Hello. I've been trying to reach out to you, Alana.
Wait, let's see. Where is Alana watching from? Is she on Facebook? She might be on Facebook.
Oh, Alana, how are you? Because I sent a personal invitation for Alana to join us on Wise Well Women's Summit. Yeah. And there was no response. Hi, Alana.
I think she's on your Facebook, actually. She might be on your Facebook.
She is. Oh, is she? Okay.
I think that's where she's watching from.
All right.
Alana, it's good to hear from you and hope you are doing well. Now, we are going to close this. Yes, she is. She says she's here. So Kirubai, connect with her properly.
Okay.
I think she will respond this time.
All right. Lovely to see all of you. Join us. This interesting topic. Do not give up hope. But Elizabeth, before we say bye-bye, I know your next challenge is coming. Come on.
Yes, it is.
We're going to enter into March. Yep.
You're absolutely right, Kirubai. And I don't think I've prepared the flyer to share, but it's all good. So I am running my monthly challenge for Christian women who want to start showing up more consistently on social media. Now, we have this issue of talking about social media from a very negative place. Rightly so, because there's so much negativity out there, but actually there's so much good as well, and I am one of those people who's really, she's joining from LinkedIn. Okay. I'm one of those people who is very passionate about us showing up with our light, the light that we carry, the light that God has given us, showing up on social media with that light. And whether you are a Christian woman who runs a business, who's an entrepreneur, who has a product and service, or you're just somebody who wants to share your story, then you can be part of the people that bring change on social media. You can be somebody who brings light on social media. So instead of just scrolling through other people's posts, you can join the movement and be posting something that brings hope, that brings light to those that are tuned in. So if you would like to join us for the challenge, we're starting Fast of March. There's one currently going on, and we're starting Fast of March, the next one. And, follow me on social media and you will get the details. But one of the benefits of it is that you will join a community of Christian women. We have a Facebook group, our own private Facebook group, and I post daily videos in there to encourage the women, challenge them, inspire them to show up and shine on their various platforms. So yeah, that's it. So you can reach out to me for more information. Kiruba is part of the group too, so you can ask her for the information. That we would love to have you there.
Encouraging each other, yes, and listening listening to some of the podcasts and their videos, and also their blogs. It's exciting. Come join us. Come, as Elizabeth said, come join the movement.
It's a movement, right? So Kirubai, Alana says she didn't get your message.
Oh, all right.
So maybe message her on LinkedIn, because she's on LinkedIn now. That's where she was connecting from.
Okay, I got to post the. I'll send her the flyer. All right.
Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, Pastor Isaac, Funke, Alana, and anyone else who listens to this at a later time, thank you so much for joining us. Like, share, subscribe. This is on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Help us spread the word as we have these conversations. We're coming into March, so watch the space for the conversations we're going to be having. Okay, God bless you. God bless you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your day. God bless you.